Good evening and welcome to the Fairfield Public Library's What's Cooking series with Catch a Healthy Habit. My name is Ann Farkas and I'm a program assistant here at Fairfield Public Library. As a reminder, tonight we are in the Zoom webinar format. You've probably figured that out already, which means that we will be able to answer your questions that you enter into the Q&A box or into the chat box. They're at the bottom of your screen, or you can look at the three dots. That's another way to see if to get our attention, so that we can answer any questions that you may have. Stay tuned at the end of the event to learn what is next in the What's Cooking series. I think you will want to join us. Again, I recognize a number of you as followers of this series. So I'm sure you're going to want to hear what's coming up next. If you're not familiar with us, welcome. We have monthly programs featuring local chefs and their stories. On a personal note, I have a little show and tell at the end of the evening. Those of you who have been part of the What's Cooking series may somehow recognize what I have to show you. For tonight, we will be hearing from Catch a Healthy Habit, which is located diagonally across the street from the main library, just a few doors up the hill from the new community theater. Catch a Healthy Habit has had a storefront in Fairfield for over 10 years. And tonight we're going to learn about how their organic vegan cooking food offerings have helped us all stay healthy in Fairfield. They offer wraps, salads, soups, veggie burgers, smoothies, juices. They have quite a following for their Nutola. I'm sure that Lisa's going to touch on that and explain what that is, as well as their healthful cleanses. They also offer a kids menu, so there is really truly something for everyone, no matter what your palate is. So without further ado, we are going to turn it over to Chef Lisa Storch, and she's going to talk about what she's going to cook this evening. They're going to be teaching us how to make caramel apple chia seed parfait. Welcome.
Hi everyone. Thanks for joining us. Just want to mention that unfortunately Glen couldn't be here tonight. One of his other jobs is refereeing basketball, so it's tournament week, so he couldn't turn down that game, but he sends his best to everyone. So we're gonna make some delicious chia seed apple pie filling parfait tonight, and just a little more about the cafe. We started Catch a Healthy Habit in West Haven in 2008, and we were there for just under 2 years. And then we found this great spot in Fairfield, and we moved the cafe here, and we've been here since 2009, serving up delicious organic, vegetarian, vegan foods to all of you. And we've really enjoyed being in the community over the years and hope to continue to do so for many more years to come. So we're going to jump right in just and do a few little prep things first before we get into any kind of Q&A or before I explain anything further about what we do here at the cafe. So for all of you cooking at home with me, who picked up your kits, don't forget to, which I actually forgot when I got here, to take your almond milk out and set it at room temp, because that will allow the chia seeds to work their magic a little bit better and a little bit faster. So we're going to go ahead and take our Granny Smith apples and we're going to peel them. And then we're gonna dice them up, and we're going to cook them in the saute pan with some maple syrup and some herbs and spices. Hopefully everyone got the recipe, and you can certainly make this at home at a different time. Chia is super versatile. This recipe is particularly I mean, it's like more autumn friendly, and but you can make the chia seed pudding and then parfait it with just about anything. You could do, like, we're coming into spring, so you could make perhaps at home like a strawberry rhubarb chutney, you know, or compote, and you can put that in with the chia seeds, or you can make some peaches would be great too, like sauteed peaches instead of the apples. You could do some chocolate, you could do some chocolate sauce, or like Anne had mentioned, our Nutola, which is sort of our version of granola that we make here. So we take nuts and seeds and we soak them. We like to soak all of our nuts and seeds before we use them. So we soak them and then we add them to the food processor and chop them up. And then we do a little honey, and we do some dried fruit, and then we dehydrate those for probably 2 days until it gets nice and crunchy. So then you can eat that like a cereal. You can layer it into a parfait. Put it with yogurt. You do all kinds of things with that. So we're gonna this is like kind of like lazy man's easy core. We're just gonna cut the apples down, leaving the core in there. And here at the cafe, we could just throw this in the juicer. You could do that at home as well. Maybe put it in your compost, feed it to the chickens, whatever you want to do. So yeah, we're just gonna do quick dice here. If anyone has any questions along the way about what we're doing or anything in general, feel free to raise your virtual hands.
So you do have someone who is signing in. Monique is actually watching you all the way from Tunisia.
Oh my goodness. Wow, Monique.
Your reach is quite far.
I would say.
Terry is asking about what different substitutes are for eggs.
Oh, sure. So actually, lately we've been playing around with some gluten-free vegan baking here at the cafe, and we haven't really been doing egg substitute. Things have been coming out really well just with like coconut oil, and we've been using things like banana, which is sure you can sometimes use an egg substitute, or we've been using zucchini. We've also done in the past, you can do chia, so we're using chia tonight as a pudding, but it can also be used as an egg substitute, or flax. You can make a flaxseed. So any of those things would work. You can find ratios, easy ratios online of how much water to mix with your chia or your flax to create your egg. All right, so chia is going to take about 20 minutes to do its pudding thing. So we're going to get started. We're going to get started with that first. So grab your bowl, grab your milk. Now we're using almond milk tonight. Almond milk that we make from scratch here at the cafe. We don't like to use anything from a box. So we're avoiding any, added preservatives, additives, gums, any of that thing. So it's super fresh and natural. We get our almonds straight from an awesome farm in California. And yeah, it's delicious stuff. Now, everything is measured out from your kits at home already, but we're doing 2 cups of almond milk, and we're gonna do a 1/4 cup of chia. And then we're gonna whisk that. So we're gonna give this a nice whisk for now, and then in a little bit, we're gonna check back in and just give it a quick whisk every now and again so the chia doesn't clump up. Nobody likes clumpy chia. All right, so that's gonna hang out there. And we're gonna go ahead and cook our apples. So you want your pan on medium to low heat. And you're gonna grab your 1/4 cup of maple syrup. So as far as the cafe goes, everything here we use is organic. We find that's really important, especially when you're juicing, because when you juice fruits and vegetables, you're concentrating. You're using so many things to concentrate into juice that you don't want pesticides in there, because then you're just concentrating pesticides. So especially for things like juice cleanses, it's really important to do organic for that. And speaking of cleanses, we do offer cleanses. We are currently offering cleanses anytime, so you can sign up right on our website, untitled.com, and there's a cleanse link up on top, and you can pick either 2, 3, or 5-day cleanses. You're welcome to do 1 day, 4 days, however many days you like, and you just write in the notes section what dates you would like to do. So now that our pan is getting warm, we're gonna throw in our syrup. I want to get all that good stuff out, so make sure to grab a little spatula. And we're gonna throw our apples right in there. All right, and you can, give a flip, use a spoon, however you feel most comfortable, and just let that get a little sauteed. Then we're gonna throw in our lemon juice. Now, if you got the kits for home, we measured everything for you, so it's super easy. I'm gonna measure now, so we're gonna do 1 teaspoon of lemon. We're gonna do a teaspoon of cinnamon. We're gonna do a pinch of salt. Even when we make sweet things here, we always like to put some salt in. Just tends to enhance the flavor a little bit. And then we're gonna do a 1/4 teaspoon of cardamom. Now with all of this, nothing has to be ultra exact. So, if you like extra lemon, throw a little extra lemon in there. If you're a cardamom fan, throw some of that in. If you like nutmeg, you can put some of that in there. So there's no rhyme or reason. So we're gonna visit our chia again. Give it a little stir. Try and get the little chia stragglers that are hanging out on the side of the bowl into the milk, so they start to absorb. So with the apples, we just want those to get nice and tender. Any other questions, Ian?
I am not seeing any at this moment, so feel free to either use the chat box or the Q&A box, and we would be happy to answer your queries, your questions.
So we can talk a little more while our apples are cooking. It takes about 5 minutes, so I think we're about 2 minutes in. And stir our chia a little more. We can talk a little more about the cafe. So as Anne mentioned, we have juices, smoothies, we have a whole eats menu. We do all kinds of desserts. As I mentioned, we started doing a little free baking, so that's been super fun. And oh yes, someone asked if you use all of the spice. So yes, the spice, so everything is in there all together and all mixed in. So that's
and then the other question is it a 1/4 cup of maple syrup?
It is, yes. And that, yes, so everything has been measured out. In your kits, everything is measured out.
Are there different kinds of chia seeds? When I used them in overnight oatmeal, they never puffed up.
Oh, that's interesting. I always find that chia tends to puff up best with room temperature liquids. So, but they should eventually puff up in the fridge if they're overnight. That's odd. All right, our apples are looking good. I'm not sure about yours at home, but we're gonna take ours out and cool them down. Of course, all stove tops and ovens are different, so cooking times may vary.
There's a question about whether you do cooking classes.
In the past, we definitely have done a lot of cooking classes. Since COVID, we never really transitioned over to virtual, although this has been great, so perhaps we can do it again. But yes, we used to hold them in person here at the cafe, along with all kinds of other events. So we're gonna put these in the fridge now so they can cool down.
Alice is asking if there's a brand of chia that you recommend.
No, any organic chia is great. Either black or white or all mixed up is super. So everyone revisit your chia, give it a little stir there.
I understand that the tiramisu pie was fantastic today.
Oh yes, we still have a few slices of that. So come on by tomorrow for some pie. We do tend to vary. I apologize. Everyone else's was measured out, but mine, it actually is a half a cup of chia. I was wondering why mine was not getting fit.
2/4 equals 1/2.
Exactly. So we'll be good to go here in a few.
Yeah.
So our pies, those are raw. We make them with cashews and coconut. We use maple syrup as a sweetener, and we change up the flavors a lot. So right now, coming down the wire, we have chocolate mint pie, and we do still have some tiramisu pie left. All right, now we're gonna do some candied pecans for on top. So those that got the kit, we made it really easy for you guys, and we have the candied pecans already pecaned. So all you have to do is put them on the top. Now I'm just gonna show you a quick how-to of how we make those. Now the recipe calls for 1/3 of a cup of pecans, but these are so delicious that you're gonna wanna make extra because you're gonna wanna snack on them. And you can also put them on salads, on your cereal in the morning, anything like that. So 1/3 of a cup, you're gonna do two teaspoons of maple syrup. And then we're gonna do salt and cayenne. The salt, that to be to taste. Basically, we have it as a pinch, and the cayenne as well. If you like extra spice, then add a little bit more.
Cayenne with nuts is really a very interesting flavor. I have another recipe I do with that, and it really makes it pop.
Yes, very delicious. So we get a little pinch of salt here. And we have a pinch of cayenne as well. And we're just gonna stir these up with a spatula. And then these are gonna go right on a baking sheet with parchment, would be great. And you're gonna bake these at 350 for about 10 to 12 minutes. And yes, your nuts are already done. I just saw that question pop up. So you don't have to do this process with your nuts.
And you're using the spatula so that you don't crush the nuts?
Yeah, exactly. So we get pecan halves. So they're nice halves. Obviously, they're not always beautiful halves, but these will cook up nicely. We're gonna put these right on our sheet tray. And get all the good stuff from the bowl there. Spread these out of it and bake away. That's our magic oven back there. So let's revisit the chia. Mine is thickening and I had a late start. I apologize again. So yours should be looking pretty thick at home. And I will show you the nuts already cooked. So here at the cafe, we do a lot of dehydrating. The dehydrator is basically like a convection oven that we keep, where the apple's also on parchment. Yes, you can put the apples in a bowl without parchment. You just want to cool them off. So usually if you layer them more spread out on a sheet pan, they'll cool faster, but you can also put them in a bowl. So anyway, the dehydrator is basically a convection type oven. So it has a heating element and a fan. And so we like to do things on very low temperature for longer amounts of time. So the nuts that you have in your kit, if you did get a kit, they are going to be probably a little bit different texture. They're going to be like a little bit crunchier, and they're not going to have that like cooked oven flavor that the nuts from the oven will have. But they're equally as delicious. So just to let you guys know about that.
What are the health benefits of using the dehydrator?
So the dehydrator, when we first started this cafe, Glenn and I were very into raw food. And so the dehydrator, you're able to do things low and slow so that you're not cooking anything at a super high temp. And the reasoning behind that, they say, is the digestive enzymes in the food then stay intact, and then it's easier for your body to digest the food. So that's basically what it is. But I mean, dehydrator have been around forever. Like, you know, hunters use them for making their beef jerky and, you know, all kinds of things. So there's multi-purposes for the dehydrator, but they're great for like kale chips. We make our kale chips in there, and those are delicious. The nutola goes in there. But again, you can do all these things in your oven. You're not limited. It's great if you have a convection oven that you can set at a low temp, like 200, 250, and sort of mimic that a little bit to get that slow and long sort of cook on it. Any other questions? Everyone's chia looking good over there?
No other questions at this moment. Don't be shy, folks. Lisa's here to answer your questions.
I'm gonna grab our mason jars. You're welcome to use any receptacle. These are fun because they're glass, so you'll be able to like see the layers. All right, so I think the chia is about done. We'll start with chia. Our apples are probably still cooling, so we'll do a little Q&A in the meantime. Chia makes a great breakfast, snack, lunch. You can just eat this out of the bowl. You can throw some fresh fruit on it. This recipe probably lends itself a little bit more to a dessert, just because, you know, we did use an okay amount of maple syrup. But if you wanted to make this, you know, maybe like a little bit more low sugar, you could just macerate some berries with lemon juice, maybe like a little bit of vanilla, and eat that with the chia. There's plenty of ways to adjust everything to your needs. The term healthy, I think, means different things to so many, you know, different things to different people. So obviously you can adjust and do as you wish. Also, just to touch on the cafe here, we call ourselves vegetarian because we do use honey. So some vegans don't consume honey. So basically, say vegetarian because of the honey, but we don't use any dairy or eggs. That would be like a lacto-ovo vegetarian. And then of course there's pescatarian, so we would add, fish and seafood in. And then, there's paleo, there's keto. I mean, there's so many different diets out there now. So they're all great, whatever works for you. And we're not here to push or promote any diet. We just like to serve clean, organic, healthy food for everyone. So, we've heard a lot of times, like, people have felt, like a little bit uncomfortable coming in the door. They didn't know what to expect. And, there's pretty much something for everyone. You can grab a great lunch. We have awesome salads. The price points, for considering that you're getting all organic, we hear a lot that it's very expensive, but compared to, somewhere around the corner where you're grabbing a salad for lunch, $13 for a salad that's all organic isn't really that much. And we have great smoothies and juices and any other questions, Ian?
Yeah, so speaking about substitutes and honey, there's a question about would there be a good substitute for maple syrup? Perhaps honey is the question.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, you could definitely do honey. Honey candied nuts would be delicious. Or honey in the apples. Or you can water saute the apples. I mean, you don't even need any sweetener.
That's a great idea.
Yeah, just to soften them up, or you can cook them in the oven. And then mix them with some of the lemon juice and stuff to cook them up in the oven.
There's a question about spices. Is there another spice besides cayenne that you would recommend?
Well, I mean, you can make these any flavor that you want. So if you want to do everything spice nuts, you could do that. Everything spice is like all the rage right now, right? So you could really put anything, any spice on the nuts if you like. We kind of like the play on the hot and the spicy and the sweet goes really well together. And because the chia with the apples is like a little bit sweet, then the spice kind of gives it that kick and varied flavor. Yeah,
I can imagine. The combination sounds fabulous.
And then obviously you're getting the crunch too, which is good because nothing in the chia is very crunchy. Once the chia seeds bloom, they're not very crunchy.
Awesome. There's a question about the apples, and would you, what other apples would you recommend if you don't have Granny Smith?
You can do any apple. I always like baking and cooking with Granny Smith just because of, they're like a little bit tartar and the texture is great. But you can certainly use a red apple. Our favorite apples here tend to be Granny Smith's, Fuji, and Gala. Those are the ones we tend to order and use. But Macintosh are delicious. So yeah, you can vary that for sure. Nice pink apple.
Awesome. So on a totally a little bit of a side, this has been a very tough time on restaurants during the pandemic.
Oh, absolutely.
So wondering what you have done at Catch a Healthy Habit to pivot again and again and again, as a lot of restaurants have had to do.
It has been a very challenging time for sure. In about April, we started doing groceries. So we sort of shifted. We still offer takeout of our entire menu, but we were also offering groceries. So we had all organic produce, and we were selling things like bulk chia and bulk nuts and seeds, and pretty much anything anyone wanted that we could order, we were doing it for them. So that was great. That brought us through about June, and then things opened up a little bit more, so people started going to the store on their own. So we let that go, and then we continued on with our takeout. We had outdoor seating, which we will hopefully again, the weather's been nice, so we've had our table out a few days in the last 2 weeks. And so we put some tables in our alleyway. We had some beautiful flowers out there to, try and spruce up the alleyway a little bit to make it, more of a nice dining experience for people. And then we opened for indoor dining. for those of you who've been here, you know that it's quite small. So while Connecticut opened up for 100% capacity, what did not change is the 6-foot rule. So all tables still have to maintain that 6-foot social distancing. So we still do not have a lot of room in here to add any more tables. But if you're a restaurant that's like enormous in size, then perhaps you can get to 100% capacity. Even that might be tricky at this point to be able to do that with the spacing. So yeah. So right now we have indoor dining, we have takeout, we have cleanses. We have outdoor dining and the weather's nice, and that's pretty much how we've pivoted, and we've done contactless delivery when asked, or rather curbside contactless, where you pop your trunk if you don't want anyone coming in contact with you. We prefer to do credit card in person, which is also contactless. But if need be, we can always take a credit card over the phone. We can bring our credit card reader out to the curb, so we can do that then. So yeah, there's all kinds of different things we can do.
We have a number of questions that have come in. We'll I'll get to a bunch of them here. So one is, are there different kinds of flaxseed?
So the flax seeds that we use here are brown. There's also golden flax. So if we're going back to like the egg substitute thing, either one of those will work.
Okay. And then were the apples also on parchment paper?
The apples, so we put the apples in the pan, and then when we cool them, we put them on parchment. But again, it's not necessary. You can just put them in a bowl. They're not going to stick to anything. It's just more, a sanitary thing to keep them on the parchment. But you can put them in a bowl and chill them in your fridge as well. So the parchment is not necessary. Nice.
And are there soups that come with your cleanses?
Yeah, so our cleanse is a little bit harder than just juice. So a typical cleanse day, and when you sign up for a cleanse, you come and pick up every morning for those offerings for the day. And everything is included except for water that you should be drinking. So you get everything, and then continue to drink your water throughout the day. So we do, essentially it's 4 juices, a blended soup, and a smoothie. So when we do the smoothie, we don't use like banana. We try not to do any super high glycemic things. And we use like a lot of avocado and coconut to kind of even out the fat with the sugar content. And yeah, it's great. And we actually do just straight up chia seed pudding on Tuesdays and Thursdays of the cleanse. So that's a nice, because chia has a ton of fibers, so it's really good when you're cleansing. It helps, keep things moving while you're cleansing, which is important. And people really enjoy the chia day because they feel like they're consuming something. I'm just
getting some substance.
Yes, exactly. They get to, use a spoon and put something in their mouth.
Yeah. So there are a couple more questions here.
Sure.
If we have some time before you're ready to combine things there. What's the difference between cooking at a low temperature in the oven or convection oven?
So convection has the fan element. Regular bake is just going to produce the heat, from the cooking coils. So it can contribute to a more even cooking. And it mimics more of what our dehydrator is doing with the convection fan.
Got it. Do you use frozen foods or only foods in season? And where do you source your foods from?
So we source our food, basically from our purveyor. Unfortunately, we don't do a ton of local because it is hard with all of the different fruits that we put in our smoothies. We get everything in fresh, and then we do make sure that it's at its prime ripeness before we cut it and freeze it to put in our smoothies. So we think that that's very important. It's a tough balance between organic, local, cost effectiveness. To run a restaurant, it's very challenging to do all organic because we're talking about potentially double or triple the price of conventional items. So we have to try and keep our food costs down as much as possible because we'd like to stay in business. So yeah, we did used to do a lot more local, and we went away from that a little bit, unfortunately. But perhaps this season we can get back to into that a bit more.
Yeah. There's a big outcry for your pecans. So they're asking if the pecans are available for sale. Do you sell them?
So people have been snacking and trying the pecans before they made it to the parfait. I see. So those pecans are on our harvest salad, which used to be our winter fall. We change our menu twice a year, in the fall and the spring. And the harvest salad used to be just on the fall winter menu, but it was so popular that it's a year-round salad now. So those come on there. We can probably sell them by themselves if people are interested, for sure.
There's, I don't know about this next question here. It might be a setup.
Uh-oh.
Did you enjoy beating your baby brother on national television? Did he cry off camera?
He did not cry. I was shocked that I beat him. So to tell a little backstory, hopefully we have time. I don't even know what time it is, but to tell a little backstory about Bobby Flay, Matt was on Chopped and he won Chopped, and he was, in contact with casting and trying to be on another show. So he was chatting with the Beat Bobby Flay casting and doing his interview, and they were asking about his schooling and whatnot, and he said, well, I went to culinary school with my sister, and they said, oh, you have a sister that's a chef. Would she want to be on the show? And he's like, sure, because at the time they were pitting against like husband and wife. There was like a father and a son, and so they were looking for like a brother and sister team. So So they interviewed him, and then he contacted me. And when he first said it, I said, no way, absolutely not. I was nervous. I didn't want to be on. I mean, mainly those shows are, very meat driven and very, like heated cooking driven. And that's not primarily what we do here. So I was nervous, and I was like, no. And then I thought about it for a little bit, and I was like, sure, why not? What's the big deal, right? So we get on, we're there. I'm so nervous. Matt seems cool as a cucumber, but later on he told me that he was very nervous too. And after the 20 minutes, and it's legit, they actually time it, and you don't have any extra time. We're sitting there in front, standing in front of the judges, and in my mind I'm saying, please let Matt win, because I can't do that again. I was just so overwhelmed and couldn't believe that all I wanted to do was get something on the plate. Like that was my prime focus, is just have something after the 20 minutes. So to win that round was very shocking, and I didn't really see what Matt made, and he didn't really see what I made. It all goes by very quickly. I didn't get to taste my food. He didn't get to taste his food. I didn't get to taste his food. Anything. So yeah, it was very shocking. And then immediately go into the next round. So Matt got popped up into the audience with the rest of our family, and it was fun to have him up there and chime in and make little smack talk towards Bobby. So that was good. And yeah, so the second round I felt a little bit more comfortable because there was no surprise element. Matt, regardless of who won the first round, Matt and I were both going to come at Bobby with our cheese crepe block recipe that from our great grandmother. So I can make that stuff in my sleep. That was a little bit less stressful. And the fact that Bobby went super Italian made it a lot easier for me on with the judges. So that worked out for sure.
That's awesome. Any interest in going back on?
I know my immediate response is no, but maybe one day.
Yeah. So there's another question about turning the tables a little bit now again. How did you survive the curriculum of the CIA being a vegetarian?
Yeah, that was tough. I had a lot of CIA instructors give me a lot of funny looks. When I approached one, I remember, I think it was Chef Canner, and I think he's still there. I said, can I make my split pea soup without the ham hock? And he was like, why would you want to do that? that's where all the flavor comes from. So it was a challenge, and I actually veered a lot towards pastry while I was there because of that, to kind of steer clear of the meat. So I was a pastry chef when I finished culinary school, and I did work at Match with Matt as the pastry chef for a few years. And then after that, I went to the Institute for Integrative Nutrition. And that sort of led me more along this path in addition to my dietetics degree that I had from college. So, and Institute for Integrative Nutrition is actually where I met Glen. And we started doing a lot of local events, documentaries and healthy cooking and dinners and cooking classes and whatnot. So that's
Can
sort
you
of how
tell us a little bit about the Institute and where it's located and how you heard about it and what you did there?
Sure. So at the time it was live and it was in New York City. They rented out the Jazz Center at Lincoln Center. Since then, it's changed a bit, and it's only offered online now, which I guess segued them right into this sort of COVID-friendly distance learning. So I have met through here as customers a bunch of people that have done the online course, and everyone loves it. So Glen and I were for a bit full-time holistic health counselors, where we did one-on-one coaching with people or group classes for a bit until we started Catch a Healthy Habit.
Wow, talk about pivoting again and again, Lisa. You've
It's a
done
lot
it.
of pivoting, yes.
Yeah,
I'm gonna grab the apples because I don't want to run out of time.
excellent. Feel free to write in your questions. We're still here.
So we're gonna layer in some apples now. Be sure to get some of the delicious juicy bits in there. Oh, just to swing back with the Bobby Flay thing too, is I was since the second round was in fact going to be a vegetarian round using dairy. I did want to make sure that the first round was vegan, and I did keep it that way, so I was happy about that. So you'll see now, the first time I did Chia, it was a little bit looser than this, but now that it's hung out even a little bit more and at room temp, it's thicker. So for this purpose with the Parfait, the ratio of Chia to milk is a little bit more. But if we were doing just straight up Chia pudding like that we serve on our cleanse or that we would serve here just by itself, we would make this a little bit looser. Or you can make this ahead of time. You can store this in your fridge with our milk that's homemade. The shelf life would be 5 days. So you could store it like this, and then if you were to serve it, tomorrow for breakfast and you want it a little bit looser, you can just loosen it up with a little bit more almond milk. And you can certainly do this recipe nut-free if you want. Like coconut milk would be great. You could do candied like sunflower seeds or pumpkin seeds would be great. That would work. We do handle a lot of allergies well here, like gluten, but nuts, we are not friendly to those with nut allergies, unfortunately. We apologize for that, but we do use a lot of nuts. All right, so we're gonna do a whole nother layer of Chia here. And this is gonna be the last layer of Chia. So if you're following at home, use all of this up, which is looking like it's gonna be pretty good.
Someone who had extra ingredients at home made a triple batch of your pecans.
Somebody made a triple batch of pecans?
Yep.
Oh, smart move.
Yep.
Enjoy those later. It's hard not to just snack on those. They are very yummy. All right, now we're going apples again. Now we're gonna do candied pecans, but another great topping could be like a quick little like crumb, where you would do like if you want to keep it vegan, you could do like a little bit of coconut oil a little like date maybe in the food processor with some pecan and cinnamon and make like a little crumb. Or you could do like a straight up kind of gluten-free crumb at home where you could take some butter, you could take a little sugar and gluten-free flour and you know, do like a quick bake in the oven of that and put that on top of here. This is like so many things you can do with the basic Chia Parfait here, depending on the season, depending on what you like.
Yeah, I can see how you could use different fruit in there. That's a great idea.
Absolutely.
So there's another question here from someone who says that they love eating meat and fried foods. How do you recommend dipping my toes in your cuisine and your cafe? A lot of us carnivores are scared to come in. I don't want to be on a diet to come to a diet to have to come in.
No, absolutely. That I mentioned that before, that we have so many customers that feel nervous for whatever reason to come in, maybe because of the name, catch up, we have it. We are open to have, you know, any kind of carnivore or whatever more you are, please come in and try our food. It's all delicious. It happens to be healthy. You know, no one's saying you can't go home and eat your fried food and your meat for dinner. You know, give us a try for lunch. Just come in the middle of the afternoon and try a smoothie. It's a great segue. Our desserts also are so delicious that, you know, most people wouldn't even think that they were vegan. We have smoothie bowls, so even those are great, especially as the weather's warming up. You could do like an acai bowl, you could do a dragon fruit bowl. Any of our smoothies, and our smoothie list is really long, so you're guaranteed to find something on there that you like for sure, as far as flavors go. And if you don't, then we'll create something to your liking.
That sounds fabulous, either for a snack or a meal.
Exactly. Yeah, so you can do like a smoothie bowl, and we put some delicious stuff on top, like our granola you can get on top, fresh fruit. We have something called Rotella, which is like Nutella, but it's the healthier version. So all these things that maybe you're used to, in a maybe like a slightly unhealthier version. Usually there's some healthier versions that you can, give a try and incorporate perhaps into your diet. So we're not saying you have to come and eat your, 3 meals a day, 7 days a week, but it's great to try and incorporate, some healthier stuff. And, chia is awesome fiber. Cinnamon and chia are really great for diabetes. So maybe, again, not like the super maple syrup version, but something with, like fresh berries that aren't super high glycemic. Would be a great breakfast or like a midday snack or something.
Can you go over the Nutella again, Nutella?
Oh, sure. So we soak nuts and seeds, and then we food process them to kind of chunk them up a bit. And we mix them with, we use local honeys. We use honey from Red Bee Honey in Weston. And we do some salt in there, and we put like goji berries in there, and then that gets dehydrated for like 2 to 3 days until it gets like nice and crunchy, kind of similar to the candied nuts a bit, the crunch texture. But again, you can also put that in your oven at a low temp and do that as well.
And you sell that separately, or do you usually put it on something?
I think we don't. I don't have a bag of it right now, but hold on 1 second. So we sell that bagged up like this size. I don't have it in a bag right now. So we sell that separately, and then you can also get that as a cereal and milk option on our menu, or you can put that on top of any of our bowls. So we have the DK acai bowl, and that already comes on there. But all of our bowls have the option to create your own, so you can pick from a number of toppings and put them on top and make your own bowl. So these are other dehydrated snacks that we do. These are kale chips, these are onion rings, and these are flax crackers.
And are those seasoned, or are they just simply as you stated? just kale, or are there different?
No, the kale season, like with a little olive oil, salt. We do some nutritional yeast on there, so that they're a little bit of like a cheesy flavor. The flax crackers, they have like chili powder and cumin and those kind of seasonings, so they have a bit of spice to them. And the onion rings we make from flax and sunflower seeds and onions. So, but obviously onion is the main ingredient there. And our onion bread as well that we make here. We say bread because it's more of a cracker, but our bagel, that's been kind of like a classic menu item for a long time, goes on the onion bread. And that's a very similar recipe to the onion rings. Very oniony, and it stinks in here. I don't know if anyone's ever been in here on onion bread making day, which is, I think, is coming up tomorrow. So be forewarned. I hate coming in on onion bread day, to be honest. It's strong. It's very strong. We apologize, but there's not a whole lot we can do.
Well, but onions are healthy. So
They
that's
are.
a good thing. So there's a question about your smoothies and which smoothies that you would recommend to boost immunity.
Probably for immunity, we would recommend, maybe more of like green juices with ginger and turmeric, lots of like leafy greens and celery and kale. Smoothie wise, we do have some elixirs that we can do cold as well. Like we have the golden elixir. So that has turmeric and ginger and cinnamon and honey. So those are all really great. And then we have a magic mushroom elixir, which is super popular. It's kind of a souped up hot chocolate and it has medicinal mushrooms in it. So it has reishi and chaga. So those are nice immune boosting foods. So those are great.
Can you talk a little bit about mushrooms and the medicinal value of them? I've heard a lot about that recently.
Yeah, so I mean, we mainly just use chaga and reishi, and they're like ancient Chinese mushrooms. I mean, they've been used for thousands of years, and we use them, particularly in the magic mushroom elixir. Sometimes we'll put them in, maybe we'll make like a pie and put them in there. Sometimes Glen will concoct some, fun chocolates with medicinal mushrooms in them. He makes a turmeric fudge, so get your turmeric boost from that as well. If you don't want to drink it, you can eat it in your fudgy dessert.
That sounds great. So do we have any more questions? Would folks like to submit a couple more? Oh, here's one. Chocolate strawberry smoothie is so delicious.
Chocolate covered strawberry, that's a good one. I mean, our smoothies are, for the most part, like super simple, like easy stuff you can make at home. I think the almond milk really like has them stand out a bit because we do in fact make that in-house, and everything is really clean as far as ingredients go, and everything, all the fruit is obviously organic and at its prime ripeness. So I think that really comes through when you're trying the smoothies.
Yeah, I think it was your chocolate strawberry smoothie that they had.
Oh, right. We have, chocolate covered strawberry. So that's like we do like a strawberry on the bottom, and then we add cacao powder to the rest of the rest of the smoothie that's in the blender, and then we chocolate cover it. That's actually one of my favorite things to do. My favorite smoothie on the menu is the Peruvian passion, and I'm a big cacao fan, so I like to do like chocolate covered on top of the Peruvian passion. And it's just fun because then you can, dip your straw in all the way and get like a non-cacao taste, or you can, catch the top and get a little of both in there if you want some cacao and fruity flavor mixed together.
So I feel very lucky here. My phone is blowing up with images of people's creations.
Oh,
so,
awesome.
I just want to let everybody know that you've received the registrants have received an invitation to share their creation to social media, and you can tag us and mention it. And so definitely we want to see your pictures.
Yeah, great job, and everyone that followed along at home. Super easy, right?
Yeah, you can also, if you'd like, take a picture and email it to me from the link that I sent to you today, so we can promote it that way as well. let's see. So everything looks so awesome. I will visit your store soon. That's from Pat. V says, I've tried making the chocolate avocado pudding with coconut milk instead of almond, but my 4-year-old granddaughter says it just doesn't compare.
I think again, it's because of the almond milk we made here. A lot of people say they try things at home and it just doesn't come out the same. So we do sell you can buy our almond milk by the quart. So that's always an option too. If you want to purchase almond milk and create things at home, you're welcome to do so.
Yeah, I've seen your video of you blending the almond milk. I mean,
yes,
you want to talk about fresh.
Yes, it is a process, but it's quick. It's very quick.
Yeah. So some people are saying that they've already eaten their creations.
Perfect. Great. I hope everyone enjoyed.
Yeah. So any more questions for Lisa for this evening about the shop, about what you made tonight? Okay. I would, so first of all, Lisa, thank you so much
thank you so much.
Well, we really appreciate the time that it took you and Glenn to put together the kits for everyone. It's super fun to have everything measured and just ready to go. We know that the chefs in Fairfield are very capable, but they also love to have easy go-to things to do. So your pre-measured things was certainly very, very helpful.
Absolutely, our pleasure.
Well, and also thank you for keeping Fairfield so healthy. I feel like I probably need to come over there tomorrow for lunch and maybe smell the onions.
Oh yeah, come smell some onions. Thank you to Linda too for connecting us with this. That was great.
Yes, indeed. Linda's a connector.
Yes.
So I promised you in the beginning that we would talk about what was coming up next. And then I also have my show and tell, my silly show and tell. But in April, a number of you have already discovered that we're going to be doing a cake decorating event with Alina's Cakes and Cookies. The owner, Alina Dancho, will walk us through decorating a cake that you can use for Mother's Day. Or just really to celebrate spring. Again, you can go to the link on our website and there's a picture of what the kit will include. She's going to provide the cake and then some bags of frosting and some decorations. So again, it will be really fun and easy to participate. And then in May, we have a longtime Fairfielder, someone who grew up in Fairfield. Hannah Kaminsky is going to join us. She is a cookbook author and a food stylist. She's going to be discussing her 7th cookbook. So impressive. She has both written and done the photography for her cookbooks. And she also has quite a story to tell. I'm really quite excited about the both upcoming programs. And then in terms of the show and tell, a number of you may have attended the program in February with Jacques Pepin, and he was very talkative about his chickens. And I'm lucky to have a very supportive sister who found this lovely apron.
That's great.
So I feel so honored. It's you can see that it's sur la table. Anybody else who needs to have a Jacques Pepin apron and likes chickens or doesn't like chickens. I happen to be a vegetarian, but you can still enjoy the wonderful Jacques Pepin apron. And also, I'm sorry?
It's very cute.
Thank you. And there are still copies of Jacques' cookbook with the book plates available at Fairfield University Bookstore. So that's it for this evening. Thank you again to Lisa and Glenn. And we'll look forward to seeing everybody in April. April 26th is the next event. Have a great evening.
Bye.
Bye-bye.